Thank you. Jackie, could we have the roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Velardo,
Here.
Vice Mayor Parrish, Mr. Price,
Here. I gotta click
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Miss Barney. Here. Miss Cooper,
Here.
Miss Russell.
Here.
And can we get a motion to excuse Vice Mayor Parrish?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. And now we have, before we get into our regular, we got some pretty incredible things that we're going to do tonight. The first of which is a recognition of a long time service member, our service director. And in full disclosure, he is my brother-in-law, so I get the honor and pleasure of presenting. So if we could have, and family, if you would like to take pictures as we're doing this, you're more than welcome to come up front. If I can have, oh, there's Ed. Hi, Ed. Yeah, come on up, Ed. This is just what you love, the limelight. So, in honor of all your incredible years of service to this community, we applaud you. So how about a big round of applause?
Yes.
Before I get started, I'm going to take a little point of personal privilege. Ed, you have been some of the heart and soul of this community. So thank you on behalf of this community, on behalf of myself, on behalf of my family, and your whole Milford family. You have truly been part of the heart and soul of this community. So that has not gone unnoticed, and you've got some big shoes to fill. So, all right, with that being said, Ed Hackmeister, I hereby recognized by the citizens of the city of Milford for his hard work and dedication to the city. Ed has a 27-year career with the city of Milford. He has served as the city's department supervisor for 15 of those years. Ed's journey with our city began well over 2 decades ago on April 5th, 1999, when he was hired as a cemetery worker. Over the next 12 years, Ed became the ultimate utility player for Milford. He moved from the cemetery department and the service department, stepping up wherever he was needed. And Ed never stopped growing as a professional. Over the years, he has earned his OSHA Competent Person designation for trenching and excavation, supervisory development, and FEMA emergency management systems. He took the local education he received from the Milford's Joint Vocational School and the Live Oaks campus, combined it with his early private sector experience at General Electric and AV Grinding, and poured all that knowledge directly into Milford, making it a better place, a safer place for us all to live. Ed, the fabric of Milford is stronger because of your 27 years of hard work. You've kept this community moving, our streets safe, and our city truly beautiful. Now, therefore, myself, Ralph Velardo Jr., and all my colleagues here on council, by the virtue vested in me and the authority of as the mayor of the city of Milford, I do offer our deepest gratitude. Thank you, Ed, for your dedication to the city of Milford. We wish you health, relaxation, maybe some big winnings at a little local establishment that you might go to, and happiness in your well-deserved retirement. Well deserved. We have all that, and for those of you, so the city has gone over and above. So, Judy, would you come up here, and we're going to get a picture all together. So, come on up. And so, Ed, we allocated 12 minutes for a speech for you. Yeah. So please, you get a quick picture. Yeah. Is that his assistant?
We know.
So please.
Sit right next to
Absolutely. Oh.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Ed, can you fix that?
One last job.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
put write something. Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Loretta Roque and Mike Height for hiring me. I would also like to thank both current and past service department colleagues that they have been wonderful teams who have accomplished a lot for the city. I would also like to thank anyone that has or is currently working with these following departments: water, wastewater, administration, police, and fire. It's been a pleasure working with you all. I've also worked with some really great city managers: Loretta Roque, Jeff Wright, Benjamin Gunderson, and a lot of dedicated council members. I'd also like to thank my family that is here tonight: my son Jess, his wife Lauren, and our new grandson Nash. Also Susan, Johnny, the unofficial mayor of Milford, Tommy, Amy, my mother-in-law Mary Sue Velardo, Sharon, her sister that is watching via laptop, and the mayor Ralph Velardo. I cannot leave the most important person in my life out, my wife Judy. She has been through the good and the bad. I love you. Thank you. Now I'm looking forward to sleeping through the night without the police calling me and saying it's snowing and the roads are getting slick. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, well, we've got another, if I can get Sergeant Paul Lane to come forward here for a moment. Even though Paul retired, left, and then we brought him right back. So, well, we never officially did it right, and we're going to present you with a proclamation here. So if you don't mind holding that while I talk. All right. All right. So whereas Sergeant Paul Lane has dedicated 25 years of exemplary service to the Milford Police Department and the citizens of our community. Sergeant Lane has demonstrated versatile leadership during his career. He served as a patrol officer, acting supervisor, dare officer, and police detective prior to being promoted to sergeant in 2015. And Sergeant Lane is the recipient of the Top Criminal Investigation Award by the Claremont County Law Enforcement Association, which truly is an incredible honor. So I think we're very proud that we've had Paul here for so long. But he's also been the Crime Stoppers Officer of the Year and the Milford Police Department Larry J. Oaks Memorial Award. Sergeant Lane holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from the University of Cincinnati and is a graduate of the Supervisor Training Education Program and the Police Executive Leadership College. In addition to his supervisory of patrol squad, Sergeant Lane served as a grant administrator, the cruiser recording custodian, and supervisor of the crime scene unit. Therefore, now I, Ralph Velardo Jr., along with all my colleagues on Milford City Council, and by the virtue and authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Milford, do hereby proclaim this in honor of Sergeant Paul Lane for his unwavering commitment to public safety, his leadership with the Milford Police Department, and his 25 years and counting now of faithful service to his community. Big round of applause, Sergeant.
Well, that's it, okay.
Yeah. So, Ed only did 10, so you can take 2 of his.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, council. That's just a few words. This was a great place to work, and it's a great place to continue to work. You know, early on, Milford was very inviting to me. The councils that I worked with, my coworkers, like Ed was saying, and then the business leaders. A lot of those people served as mentors for me. You know, the Gene Ackermans, Mr. Slusher. So they would always pull me aside, give me advice, and I don't think a lot of places have that. You know, it was just. It always felt like home, continues to be home, and I'm proud to work here and proud to live in the area, and just want to thank you and everybody else. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, going down this same line, I believe Chief Jamie Mills, you have quite a list of other recipients to receive some distinguished honors.
Well, I have 4. Unfortunately, 2 could not be here tonight. But first, I want to congratulate Ed and Paul, 2 of the best guys I worked with. I'm so thrilled that I was able to pull Paul back in. I'm still working on Ed's next assignment. An officer or something like that. So if I could have Officer Charles Newmeyer come forward, please. Stand right over here. So Charles is being awarded the Chief's Commendation Award, and that is because he has demonstrated excellent judgment and leadership while serving as an officer in charge. So when we don't have a sergeant on, we appoint someone as the acting supervisor, otherwise known as the officer in charge. Under his leadership of a squad that handled a pepper spray robbery at an apartment building that required an evacuation for ventilation, a motorcycle pursuit involving Marymount PD that ended with a crash on the Mill Street Bridge, and a 3-year-old child that was abducted by her non-custodial mother who stole 2 vehicles while fleeing to Canada. Charles was in charge of a shift that supervised that, not in one night, of course, but over a period of about 6 months, and he was nominated by the shift supervisor, Sergeant Kibbe, to receive this Chief's Commendation Award, which comes with this insignia that you can wear on your uniform. Everybody, congratulations, Officer Charles Newman.
Well, thank you. I didn't really prepare anything. I'm just going to say that it's just part of the job. You just do it. I didn't really think anything of it. The other great thing is when you're OIC and you got good people around you, it makes it a lot easier. So, and that's going through all this stuff and everything else. I thank the people I work with because they made my job a lot easier. So, which in return helps Milford out because, you know, we can do our job more effectively. But other than that, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, if I could have police volunteer Ricky Summers come forward. So Ricky has earned the Civilian Service Certificate tonight. Police volunteer Ricky Summers has served the Milford Police Department since 2013, 13 years now, volunteering at Frontier Days every year, directing traffic out there in the heat. National Night Out, again, out there in the heat. Shop with a Hero, which he says is his favorite event of the year, and as one of our pilots on our drone unit. His selfless dedication is a force multiplier and truly commendable. Congratulations, Ricky.
I can't tell you how honored I am to receive this award. It's hard to believe it's been 13 years. I worked with some, really blessed to work with some really fine people here and to spend time here in Milford. It's such a special place, and just looking forward to many more years of doing what I can for the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ricky.
Oh, my
Ed? I know what we're buying in our budget session.
The next award I want to issue tonight is to another police volunteer who has also served 13 years with the Milford Police Department, Win Poe, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight but promises me he is watching virtually. Police volunteer Win Poe has served the Milford Police Department since 2013, volunteering in a variety of capacities, most notably as a board member of the Milford Police Community Partnership. His selfless dedication is a force multiplier, and he's truly commendable. So,
Hey.
And our next recipient is no stranger. Officer Megan Eschman has received this year's Silver Bullet Award. So if you're not familiar, this started many years ago when Joe Kirk with Kirk Jewelers reached out and mailed this bullet to me and said at that time it was one of 6 that he had sent to someone he trusted in the community, so do what you want with it. So we came up with the Silver Bullet Award. The neat thing about this is Megan will be encumbered with the responsibility of designating next year's award recipient. Last year's recipient, also no stranger, Sergeant Paul Lane, picked Megan Eschman for her. She's recognized as a Milford Police Department leader in community policing, highlighting her efforts in Operation Holiday Patrol, which we're all familiar is when we hand out those PetSmart stuffed animals around Christmas and holiday season. She comes in first place every year. Her senior visit program and her community engaging patrol style. So unfortunately, Officer Eschman couldn't be here tonight, but she will be happy to get this when she gets back home, and she apologized. She had something come up last minute.
Thank you. Chief, I'm going to ask, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to ask all the recipients to come, and then council, if we kind of gather around, I'd like to get a quick group picture here with all the recipients, the retirement, and Ed and Paul, if you'd come join us up front, and Chief Mills, if you would stand in with the other two, I would appreciate it. So come up front, and we're going to gather around. We're going to take a quick picture. Just kind of squeeze in as much as we can.
Are we gonna?
Yeah, they're going to stand in front of us. I'm going to have that. If you guys come forward and just stand in front of them, we'll stand behind you guys in support. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Good to see you. And Benjamin, excuse me, sirs. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a council, so.
Yeah. Yeah. You are. Yeah. Yeah.
Council Plus.
Yeah.
Two.
Oh, Sandy.
Our
Here.
plus Sandy.
Yeah.
Scooch
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. That means you, just for future reference. You guys are as much a part as anything. Okay. That brings us to, now, anyone who was here for those presentations, we've got, you're more than welcome to stay. We've got a lot of business to go. But if you want to quietly walk out, we understand. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to turn this over to Benjamin here if you want to talk about our next presentation.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Next on the agenda is our parking study. I believe our city engineer is perhaps there in the back. There he is. So this is our city engineer, Dylan Osborne. A couple months ago, well, earlier this year, council gave me the task of coming up with a parking study, conducting a parking study, and we worked with our city engineer who really completed the work. But provided in council's packet is the study itself. It has council the briefing on which is essentially a summary, and then I'll have Dylan go into the actual specifics. This will be something that we post online as well, so that way the community is able to view it. But I will turn that over to our city engineer.
I would just like to note that Benjamin failed to include the other 140 pages of appendix in your packet. So,
Oh, darn.
probably some
I
decent
actually do
discretion
have
on,
it, if anyone wants to look at it. Yeah.
Save a tree.
So I talked with Benjamin about the best way to present this. I think the best way is probably for me to just kind of go through a bit of a skeleton outline of what we did, what we found, some recommendations, and then open it up to you guys for questions, comments, concerns. I'm going to walk through each section, so feel free to stop me if a question pops up immediately. But with that, I'll get started. I think shockingly, this report does not say there are 0 parking concerns in the city of Milford. So Benjamin and I talked about the best way to kind of zero in on what may or may not be a parking issue in Milford. The study area that we kind of came up with as an area to target is on page 6 of your report. we wanted to target mainly on-street parking in the central downtown area, as well as some targeted off-street locations. We focused on parking along High Street, parking along Water Street, and then all of the cross streets in between. Page 7 is a good outline of what's available right now as far as on-street parking, as well as highlighting some of the off-street areas. For example, the lot at Locust in Maine has 36 stalls. The lot at Garfield in Maine, where the old Park National Bank was, has around 34 stalls. I'll also say too on the next page, one area that we did not necessarily put a ton of emphasis on, but wanted to point out is that there is some city parking just up off of Victor Steer and around the water treatment plant. So the main thing was, hey, let's identify our target area. We'll identify how many parking spaces that we have to work with now. From there, then we looked at, okay, hey, we have these future developments coming in. What's going to be the impact of those future developments? What's going to be the need for increased parking? And then what are our alternatives? One of the other existing conditions here on the next page, page 9, that's some of the existing wayfinding. There is limited wayfinding right now as far as where public parking is. I'll hit later on in that as far as recommendations. As far as data collection goes, we did parking and traffic counts. So we did intersection counts at several intersections in the central downtown area. We did those all day, and then we focused in on an AM peak, a midday peak, a PM peak for weekday counts. We also hit on a weekend count in there as well. I think that was a Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m. In addition to those counts, we also did fly a drone on a Friday and Saturday evening in April. So once the weather's kind of started to turn and people were clearly out and about, we found two pretty good weather days early on to go ahead and collect that data. I think a pretty good example of what's available, what's in demand is page 13. So this is just the parking counts. I'm not going to bore you too much with traffic counts. Those are on the previous pages. But that's obviously a lot of data to digest, but I think the parking is what's important. So tables 1 and 2 under section 3.2, this focused on the number of parked cars. So we flew a drone every 30 minutes. We did a pass from one end of central downtown to the other, again, on a Friday and a Saturday. From what was available versus where cars were parked, we found that around 90% of available stalls on street and off street were occupied. That's in the central area, so not up by Victor Steer. I'll get to that in a second. I think that it's fair to say this is a bit of an assumption, but I'll call it engineering judgment. So that 90% I would say is maxed out. That rough 10% of cars is probably pulling out of parking spots or circulating to try and find a spot, because we kind of max out 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock on both nights. So it's a bit of an assumption, but probably fair to say. Now, as far as the parking up off of Victor Steer goes, we also flew a drone up there. You can see figure 9 on page 14. This was Saturday evening at 7:45. Relatively underutilized, both parking around the water treatment plant, the public parking, and then obviously the Elks parking is technically private. But if you pair that in contrast with page 13, where I would say that parking is mostly maxed out in downtown, with either people in spots or circulating, it was an interesting observation, to say the least. The next section here kind of hits on parking dimensions and parking standards. It's a whole lot of words to say. The existing parking dimensions for on-street parking are actually smaller than what they should be. So if I were to go and put in brand new parking stalls, brand new pavement markings, they would all be about 2 feet longer, I think is what I have in here. So that's just to note that while parking is already tight in the central business area, it could be tighter if we were actually using regulated parking dimensions. The next section hits on development. Again, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty. We use some trip generation to generate some parking demand for each of these developments. We also assumed a bit of internal capture being that when somebody comes into downtown Milford, they're not going to just one establishment. They are likely going to a restaurant, maybe somewhere else for drinks, maybe somewhere else for dessert, and also maybe somewhere else to shop. So we have an assumption around 50% internal capture of what we think would be generated. We summarized the new parking demand on page 21. So table 7 on page 21 discusses what the existing capacity is. So that the Main and Garfield lot has existing capacity. Some of that capacity would be eliminated by the development. And then the Main and Locust development, and then the Main Street Park. All total, based on our trip generation, based on what we see as internal capture, we feel that the new parking demand will be 68 spots for the new development downtown. So that's existing conditions, potential for new demand for parking, and then I'll get into alternatives. So I want to stop before I get to alternatives and open it up for any questions about existing conditions, data collection, observations.
Does the demand, the 68 with the development, say anything about what we would lose, those 30, if you reshape the spaces and make them longer?
I may have something in here on that.
Okay. I don't know if that included those or that was.
And even though they're smaller, there is no, we're not in any traffic. I mean, we can make them whatever.
They are parking guidelines.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
But I'm just wondering if that 68 includes that 30 or that's on top of that.
That would be on top of that.
Okay.
I think I have a number in here for if we were to resize everything.
Yeah, you did.
It would take me a second.
Around
to find
30.
it.
Yeah, about 30.
That's what they lose, right?
Yeah, if we resize.
But that, when you say the additional 68, there is theoretically 68 empty spots, either at Victor Steer or at other somewhat close locations, correct?
Yeah, so the parking up by Victor Steer, it's close, yeah. And I'll get to that when we talk about alternatives, just as far as different areas to emphasize as parking and potentials for parking partnerships, private-public partnerships.
Okay.
Yeah, so about halfway down on page 16. Approximately 30 parking stalls will be lost in the study area if standards, guidelines were strictly followed.
So can you clarify that again? There's a need for 68, but we're going to lose 30?
The loss of 30 would be if we went out today and said, we're going to make all of these existing spots the preferred dimension.
Okay.
And in your experience, those preferred dimensions, you go and you do this in other communities, is there, I know those are guidelines, but in your experience, are we within the norm where we have today, or you know, are we?
Yeah, I would say these are not irregular.
Okay.
It makes it a little difficult to park your full-size pickup or your Suburban or your Expedition, right?
Right.
That's the challenge there.
Any other questions before we move on?
I was just wondering about the Victor steer, because I know the American Legion claims all of that, except for right up against where the park is at.
No, I mean, they only claim up against their building but that whole parking lot where we have is ours.
To the right of
The gravel.
Yeah, to the,
where the canoe access is, that side.
well, not only that, oh, you're talking about on the other side of the steer, where the wall is. So you're talking about where the park is.
If you
got
look
the-
at
Back where I'm talking where the park is.
Yeah, see, that's all our parking lot there.
if you look at page 8, I feel like it can kind of be a pretty good illustration of what is their parking.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Page 8,
8?
yes.
They say 18.
I don't remember.
So I believe, and I don't have my property lines on here, I believe the American Legion just has the parking, I'll say in the light gray parking lot. So it's the northeast of their building. There's a 14, a 21, and a 9, kind of right there in the middle of that figure 3. That should be their parking. East of Victor Steer, around the water department, that's all city property. And then west of the American Legion is well, at least mostly city parking for the park.
But I believe, Sandy, you're talking, the 26 comes to mind, and then the 14 and 21, those are actually American Legion park.
Right, okay,
that
because
what-
I
I
just
believe that's
know,
what you're
I just
referring
know that,
I believe that's correct, Dylan?
Yeah, it's possible that the 14, 21, and 9 is for sure the American Legion. That 26 may be split up there.
Yeah, okay.
okay,
And
okay.
I know the ones basically closest to the river are, because if they have events or we have events, they'll block out what is theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, if everyone's good, I'll get into alternatives and discuss those now.
All right.
I call these alternatives because they're not all recommended, but these are some of the different options that we looked at for potential improvements and potential addition of parking spaces. Alternative 1, 2, and 3 pertained to making traffic flow adjustments. Alternative 1 analyzed making Water Street one-way northbound, and then adding in angled parking. That's on page 23. This alternative gains 32 additional parking stalls. And this is if we go in and make them regulated standard parking stall dimensions. We would gain 32 additional parking stalls that way. Alternative 2 is Water Street one-way, but southbound. So we flip it around. This would only gain an additional 25 spaces from what is already there. And then alternative 3 is the idea of potential for a little bit of a one-way loop with Water Street and Main Street. This one was a little bit out of the box just to see, hey, what could we potentially do? This would gain an additional a total of 65 spaces. So if we shifted Main Street to one way, it gives you 40 spaces in addition to the 25 that I just mentioned with southbound Water Street. Of alternatives 1, 2, and 3, I cannot recommend 2 and 3. So if we were to switch Water Street one way southbound, it creates a little bit of a conflict at Water Street and Mill Street. So if you have traffic circulating downtown looking for a parking spot, all of those vehicles that are going southbound that then want to circle back around to Main Street are making a left turn. They're making a left turn on Mill Street. They're making a left turn on to Main. Left turns equal bad for traffic. If we can get a bit of a loop with the northbound direction, any kind of traffic that's circulating downtown, if you are headed northbound on Water Street, get to the end, say, well, I didn't like any of those options, I'm going to circle back around now. You're making a right turn. It's a lot easier as far as traffic capacity goes. Alternative 3, again, this was the out of the box, and I definitely don't recommend changing Main Street. Main Street has quite a bit of commuter traffic, and any kind of changes to flow of traffic there would be putting a lot more traffic either onto High and or Water Street. Again, not recommended, but we wanted to be able to look at it. As far as pricing goes as well, I don't have this in here, but these are just some rough numbers that I put together before I came. So if we were to look at alternative 1, we'd probably go through resurface Water Street. We would go through, redo the pavement markings. It would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $80,000 to $85,000 to go through. We'd have to mill off the pavement, put it back in. It wouldn't be a full resurfacing. Typically for that, you go down maybe 3 inches. This would be taking off the top inch and a half. Then we'd come back in with new pavement markings.
Dylan, as we were going through this, and maybe it's in here and I didn't see it, is there a traffic study, or can I think would need one for the morning traffic? If we change that, I mean, that's the bottleneck when you're trying to leave Milford between 6 and 9 o'clock in the morning, that, a lot of people utilize Water Street as, to help buffer that. By changing that to one way, regardless of which way you do that, is there that data in here, or is it possible to get that data?
Yeah.
So that, again, I think that would be something before we would ever consider one way, because, and in our archives, we looked at this probably 25, 30 years ago in downtown Milford, and obviously it wasn't as grown up as it was, but they did do a study to try to make Milford, I think it was going to be one way, Main Street was going to be inbound, and then Water, and you were actually going to cut all the way down back where Ray Street or Victor Steer is where they were going to acquire buildings, and
Yeah.
so. But again, I would just like to be able to see that data. I'm not disputing the facts that we could gain lots of parking, but are we then creating some other bottleneck?
Sure. Yeah. When we can, I didn't want that to get lost in here from being a parking study, but we did do some traffic analysis. Again, that's why we did the counts. So we went ahead and did some capacity analysis for it. It works. It does impact some of the movements, but not enough for me to say, well, I would throw it out the window. Now, if you take Water Street, you make it one way, again, especially northbound, you eliminate some of the conflict at that traffic signal. Now, obviously, you have Little Miami Brewing Event Center on the south side, so that still keeps the need. But that signal then is not necessarily circulating much in the mornings, so all of your traffic would be coming through, coming down Main Street and around. So you wouldn't have necessarily anybody that says, hey, I want to detour onto Water Street and go that way. That's not an option anymore. They'd be on Main Street, but then you wouldn't be fighting anybody else coming down Water Street.
Is the capability also then to synchronize those lights so that the 126 light, that Mill Street light, and all the rest of our traffic lights for that would be synchronized?
Right.
I don't know, I don't even know, do they change right now at all?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But I would say that they're probably overdue for a retiming study.
Okay.
So I think some of that traffic data was in the appendix, so I can pull that out. We can get it to you guys, specifically that, rather than having to sort through those additional 140 pages. I'll move on to alternative 4. Again, these are just some ideas that were thrown out there. We were looking at, okay, if we're going to look at additional parking, what are our options? There is some undeveloped property downtown. Again, it's private property, but wanted to point out an example of potential impact. There are some undeveloped lots on Cash Street. A parking lot there would total probably around 40 parking stalls. Now, outside of any kind of property purchase, rough number there is about $200,000 for a parking lot that size. Alternative 5, this is one of the cheapest, easiest alternatives is promoting parking north of that central downtown area, up by the water treatment plant and up at Riverside Park. Again, limited wayfinding signage right now, so I think that's a cheap, easy, quickly implemented solution to emphasize parking for folks coming in on both directions on Main Street and also on Water Street. Again, as you're circulating downtown, you say, well, I feel like I've struck out, I'm just going to go around the block again. Maybe you see that sign that says, oh, hey, I can go up this way and park. Now, it's a bit of a challenge. I think we looked at it. It's about a 7-minute walk to say go from up by Victor Steer down to Mill Street. That's not for everybody. And really most people. I think when you're looking for parking, most people want the spot closest to where they're going to go. The challenge is a lot of the favorited establishments are closer to the Mill Street end. Alternative 6, parking partnerships. There are several lots that are private lots that utilize parking during the business day. Now, this gets into a whole lot of matters that are above my head. But again, it's something to throw out there as potentials to pursue. Parking that's not utilized during the day that may be better suited for also utilizing parking in that 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. window, whereas otherwise it's not being used.
Did you have a cost on alternative 5?
Alternative 5, the signage, less than $10,000. I'd say $5,000 maybe.
Talking about for the paving or the?
Yeah,
Oh, just signage.
lines and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the signage would be, it can be as big or as small of an effort as you want it to be. But we didn't have it necessarily come up with any specific designs.
All right.
Yeah.
But sidewalks,
Sorry?
you mentioned sidewalks in the report might be needed.
Yes, they could be. I wouldn't say that they have to be put in, but there is a gap in sidewalks. Alternative 7, this is the big ticket item is putting a parking deck at 300 Main Street. So existing parking lot there now. There's the potential for a superstructure to go in, permit access from the High Street side. You would essentially double the amount of parking that you have in that lot. Cost for that is probably around $2 million. Again, it's the big ticket item, but we wanted to look at several different options. So just to summarize, as far as alternatives go, I would, if we're going to pursue something as far as changing up traffic flow, I think we could look at one-way northbound Water Street. That gains additional 32 spaces. I think that there's the potential to emphasize parking at Riverside Park and also around the water treatment plant. That gets nearly 40 spaces. And then if you pursue a parking deck at 300 Main, that's an additional 30 spaces at least. So those options combined total about 100 spaces of new parking that would be able to take on the additional 68 parking spots that we've found will be new demand from the new developments.
You didn't have a cost for alternative 7, correct?
$2 million. That's not a detailed cost, but it's not in the report.
Right.
I'm not seeing it, but I thought somewhere there was a potential of 189 spaces at Riverside and in that area. I can't find it right now, but if it's only being half used, that's almost 90 spaces.
I think that may,
Did I see that? I know I saw it.
yeah, so page 8. If you factor in everything around Victor Steer, so that's Riverside parking, that's parking around the water treatment plant, and also the American Legion.
Yeah.
That's 183 stalls.
Yeah. And somewhere it said it was like at half vacancy when you ran the drone or whatever. I mean,
Right,
that's
right.
a lot of spaces unused.
But Kathy, you'd have to walk 2 blocks.
Well, don't we?
7 minutes.
Don't we bill ourselves as a walkable city?
No, not at this moment. Yeah, but thank you.
Is there lighting in any of those areas? Like overhead lighting?
We have some street lighting along Main Street. I think there's some Duke-provided lighting along Water Street. I would imagine with the gap in the sidewalk, there's probably a gap in the street lighting there between Riverside Park and the downtown area along Victor Steer.
But past that, like the water treatment plant and Victor Steer, does anybody,
What's that?
overhead lighting? I was just thinking to make that more usable, you would
Yeah, the
want
parking lot,
lighting.
but it's pretty limited, what I recall. Especially as you get closer to water. There's definitely a gap between the Legion and then the water tower as far as lighting.
But lighting's not gonna cost $2 million.
No, absolutely not, no. So,
And part of the sort of non-compliant parking, in terms of the size of the space, is the last spaces, are they closer to the corner than they should be, technically?
I think they are.
Yeah. Like 20 feet from the crosswalk.
Yeah. I just
They are,
wonder-
and whether it's in your report or not, that's a codified ordinance section that I think we've talked about previously, where if you do park, technically it's outside the spot. It's really not the parking spot, but it is too close to the crosswalks.
But even the last parking space, correct? Because like in front of my store,
I'm
there might be
90%
20 feet, maybe.
I'm 90% sure you're correct.
Okay. I just wondered if you know, it's not so much as an issue to me on Water Street if you can't turn left if it was one way, but Main Street, and even frankly, Garfield on the hill at High, I go that way a lot of times, and I know a motorcyclist got hit there. It's incredibly hard to see if traffic is coming up Garfield, or, you know, I could turn, in theory, right on red at Garfield and Main from the corner of my store, but you absolutely cannot see traffic with that last car there. I was just curious.
And even the, I think we have 20 feet, I think it's 20 feet from a crosswalk. And, you know, even that doesn't necessarily guarantee the intersection sight distance that you need. I find that a lot of times it's an extra space that would have to be removed in order to achieve that. That's not something that we looked at, but could easily determined.
And you had said those 20 feet spaces are guidelines. That's not, like, if we start, you know, sometimes if you move things around, then you have to be compliant to whatever the updated standards are.
Sure. Yeah, it's not like it's an ADA compliance kind of deal. It's not manual on uniform traffic control devices regulation. There are lots of standards for street parking.
Do you guys think there'd be any value in adding like a handful of golf cart spaces?
I agree, yeah.
I mean, I see them parked, particularly in front of the coffee shop on a real regular basis, and they take up way more than, I mean, one doesn't need a parking space.
Well, I think we have 4 right now at the old bank building. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
most people realize those are,
And again, I think that's where we definitely need better signage.
Signage.
You definitely see that in more and more in golf cart communities where they have certain areas that you can optimize the golf cart parking and not take up, to your point, a regular space. If you had designated or had
Yeah.
built in, not that
and
they
those
couldn't.
might be able to be
Yeah.
at some weird angle.
Yeah. So.
Any other questions?
And in fairness, this is the first time, just so the public, we have seen that or discussed this. We're not making any decisions. That this will be vetted out. This will be, we'll have public input and things of that nature. So we are just getting this information. So we have no intention of making any decisions here. Definitely not tonight, but in short order without additional public comments and input and meeting with others. So I know we briefly spoke. Do you have a generalized time frame you would like to see?
So I would say that, once again, to your point, the purpose of the meeting was simply to have Dylan explain the parking study, so we're all under the same baseline. We have the same baseline understanding. I think next meeting, what we'll do is we'll come prepared with the options and say, okay, these are the prices, and this is how we think we would tackle this. So Water Street, for example, that's something we pursued. At 85,000, that's very achievable, and we've got room within the paving budget this year to complete something like that. If it's the $2 million parking garage, that's obviously, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of conversations that have to be had, and we would have to leverage outside resources to fund that. Well, that would be my pitch. So I think that that's a good opportunity to once again rediscuss this, understand these are the numbers. This is, at least at this point, how we would tackle it. That way, the council as well as the community has a clear understanding as to what the objectives are, or what the options are, and how we would tackle that. And then I think from there, we can, council can, we can either do public hearing, we can say, okay, hey, we're gonna knock out the one way at Main Street, let's not spend any more time on that. Okay, great. And then we can, sort of narrow it down from there.
So in other words, to the point, the public, there will be plenty of opportunities to weigh in. So
And
we will certainly hear from you.
is there already money in the budget for wayfinding?
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that one item. We put $35,000 in the budget for wayfinding. I know Dylan discussed 10,000. That would be more for the parking. What I was trying to accomplish with the wayfinding this year, and this was an excellent study to just piggyback off of, was when we're in the downtown, I want to add pedestrian wayfinding signs. So if anyone's been to Hamilton, they've got really cool maps where it's a base map of the downtown. If you've been to Minerva, Ohio, they also have the same thing. It's a base map of the downtown. It lists the businesses within that particular area. What I would do is I'd put a QR code on that. That would take you to the mobile app, which is where you have the business listing. So if you're walking, this is an easy thing to see, not only where the businesses are, but also the parking, the parks, et cetera. We'd also then be able to do driving ones. So if it's, so 5 Points would be a very obvious location. So if it was an arrow pointing left to go to the downtown, or if it's an arrow pointing right to go to the fire department, stuff like that. So it's a navigation tool, and wayfinding signs are important because you're effectively guiding people to particular areas of whether it's we'll just focus on the downtown. So it's a way to highlight what do we have and where are things located. So that's why that number is a little bit higher, is because I wanted to do more of a comprehensive approach to that.
Well, there's an aesthetic, I'd hope, and it's really identity.
Correct. Correct. And there's ample examples in terms of communities that have used wayfinding signs. So we just need to pick what meets our needs. But we do have money in the budget to complete that. And I know that's been discussed time and time again prior to my time.
Thank you, Dylan.
That was
Thank
good
you.
information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us to the approval of the proceedings for the July 7th, 2026 City Council meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you should have received, we need a motion to receive the June and July financial reports only.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Takes us to the city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, I do want to congratulate Mr. Hackmeister on his retirement. In about the 2 years that I've been here, it's been an absolute pleasure working with Eddie. He is one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. He's got a huge heart, and he always does what's best for the team and what's best for the city. So I want to make sure I congratulate him on that, and of course congratulate Paul and all the other officers that received their awards. Attached to the packet is the city manager's report. I did put a staff report separate to the traditional layout together, so if you go to the back of it, I did want to highlight 2 things in terms of announcements / recognitions. The National Night Out was a huge success. For those that were in attendance, it was a great crowd, and it's a great way to really interact with our public safety and other people in the community. So I wanted to bring kudos to all those that were involved. I also want to congratulate Alex Baird on his new promotion to lieutenant. Although the fire department is somewhat separate from the city, we still consider them part of our team, so I wanted to bring recognition of that. I won't read, well, I guess I will read through the rest of it. I wanted to highlight council on 4 different items: the State Route 28 water and sewer line replacement. The surveying has been completed for that. Dylan actually sent us the prices prior to this council meeting, and he obviously dipped for a reason. It was a little bit higher than what we thought. So we will be. Oh, is he still back there? Oh, he is still back there. Okay. So we will be working on that. We're looking to get the bids out and hopefully start this in early 2027. It's a matter of determining how far we want to go as it relates to replacement. Part of the State Route 28 sewer replacement project will actually be lining part of the sewer pipe on 28, and that will be a OPWC submittal in about 10 days. The downtown streetlights, this is something that's been brought up here this year. It's been definitely an important topic for us. That number came in at over $200,000. Dylan has been working diligently on finding ways to mitigate some of that cost. So we will be purchasing the streetlights separately. Those are on state bid, or that's the plan. That's contingent on council approval. And then from there, we will bid out the work to actually complete the project. Simultaneously, we're looking at an ODOT grant that could potentially offset the majority of that cost, if not all of it. We're just trying to figure out what the timeline is for that before we commit to it. As if we have to wait 2 years, which we won't, but if we had to wait 2 years, then that's probably not a feasible solution for us. The 5 Points and Lyle Avenue crosswalks, that will be completed. They have an August 28th deadline, also 10 days. It's going to be a tight schedule there. I think they are going to submit for an extension. That'll be an important project for us, and we're leveraging a grant to complete those crosswalks, so that'll be completed soon. And then the Wallace Avenue Water Tower, we're making good progress on that. They're expecting to be done by mid to late October in terms of actually erecting the new tower. And then there will be a gap until early 2027 where they will actually complete the construction, painting, and then demolition of the old tower. So it won't actually be fully functional until early 2027. However, they're making really good progress. And that is all I have, unless there's any questions.
Is that pretty much on the schedule we had hoped it would be, the water tower?
No.
You mean 18 months ago? Yeah.
I don't want to
Don't want to talk
It's
about
not,
it.
but I would prefer to not provide my comments.
Yeah. Chief Mills.
Sorry.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You should have my July monthly report in your packet, and I'm happy to take any questions if you have them. If not, I'd like to weigh in on this national flock debate that's going around, if I could.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, I want to begin by addressing the community demonstrations that took place at 5 Points Landing in July. I want to make one thing entirely clear from the start. As your police chief, I deeply respect and defend our citizens' rights to peacefully gather, hold signs, and voice concerns about government transparency and technology. The concerns raised at the park, specifically the worry that our flock safety cameras constitute an unnecessary infringement on your right to privacy, are not being ignored. I hear you. I'll start with the central question that brought our neighbors out to protest. Why does the system keep vehicle recordings for 30 days? And what stops the data from being turned into mass surveillance? The 30-day window is not a rolling surveillance history. It's a strict sunset clause that represents the appropriate time frame required for investigative necessity. Many property crimes, identity theft cases, or missing person cases are simply not discovered or reported the exact hour they happen. If a Milford family goes out of town for a weekend and returns home to find their home burglarized, our detectives need that short historical window to pull vehicle leads and identify suspects fleeing the area. To understand why this 30-day capacity matters, we look at how it translates to real-world safety on our streets. This technology provides objective data to solve and intercept crimes that directly impact our neighborhoods. When a stolen car enters the city limits or passes through our high-traffic corridors, patrol officers receive an instant real-time alert, allowing them to safely intercept the vehicle before it can be used to commit further property crimes or retail thefts. If a business along our retail corridors or a resident in a neighborhood is victimized by overnight theft, detectives can review objective vehicle characteristics, such as specific makes, models, and colors, to identify a suspect vehicle that would otherwise have left no physical evidence. Last month, Detective Staggs used the flock system to identify 3 suspects within 24 hours who committed a breaking and entering offense at a Milford business. The system acts as a shield by passing plates against national and state hot lists. If an individual wanted for a violent felony or a multi-jurisdictional theft ring crosses into Milford, our patrol force is immediately notified, preventing the crime before it can take root here. Crucially, this technology is a literal lifesaver when seconds count. Milford is home to a wonderfully vibrant and significant population of residents aged 65 and older. With that comes a profound responsibility to protect our seniors. When a vulnerable older adult suffering from dementia or a cognitive condition goes missing in a vehicle, a silver alert is issued. In those terrifying moments, we are not tracking a criminal. We are racing against the clock to bring a grandparent, a parent, or a spouse home safely. If their vehicle passes a camera, our officers are instantly alerted to their exact location. This tool turns a needles in the haystack search into a targeted rescue operation. Some recent examples include, and you heard a little bit about this with Officer Newmeyer tonight, Flock was instrumental in recovering an infant at the Canadian border who had been kidnapped by her non-custodial parent in Milford, who also stole 2 vehicles in the process. Flock was key in a recovery of a critically missing man from Brown County earlier this summer. You may recognize that from one of my reports. But because we took the concerns voiced seriously, we had all officers review our policy and reinforce the operational guardrails to prevent any such misuse. Some key points. The data sits encrypted and unviewable in a secure cloud. No officer sits and watches this footage. It is never accessed unless a specific crime is committed and a legitimate case number is generated. As detailed in our Milford Police Department Flock Transparency Portal, these cameras only capture license plates and vehicle characteristics. They are not running your plate through BMV, they lack facial recognition technology, and do not track people by gender or race. At midnight on the 30th day, the data is permanently and automatically deleted from the system. It cannot be archived or recovered. We are not building long-term tracking profiles on law-abiding citizens. After 30 days, it's permanently and irrevocably hard deleted on a rolling basis, not archived, not sent to Flock, not recoverable by anyone. Flock never sells, shares, or uses our data commercially. Abuse will be met with zero tolerance, and our statistics remain visible to the community online. We are fully committed to keeping Milford safe from violent crime and property theft, but we refuse to sacrifice constitutional privacy rights of our neighbors to do it, and we will continue working transparently alongside our residents to ensure this technology remains a tool for safety, not a tool for intrusion. As your chief, I must put this technology in its proper context. LPRs are not new. Our first LPR was mounted on a patrol vehicle in 2012. We implemented fixed flock LPRs last year. They're not a standalone solution. They're simply one tool among many that our officers use daily to keep this community safe. Like any powerful tool in law enforcement, whether it's a patrol vehicle, a state database, or the duty weapon on an officer's hip, there is always a theoretical potential for misuse. The solution to that risk is not to ban the tool and leave the community less protected. It's training, policy, and absolute accountability. To prove how seriously we take this, let me be unequivocal. I fully support and advocate for any state legislation that would explicitly make the abuse or misuse of flock technology a felony offense. In Ohio, knowingly misusing a statewide law enforcement automated data system, otherwise known as LEADS, is a felony. It carries severe criminal consequences because society rightly demands that sensitive data be protected. Private license plate databases should be held to the exact same benchmark. If an officer ever uses this technology for personal, non-law enforcement reasons, they shouldn't just lose their job, they should face prosecution. I welcome that standard because an honest department has nothing to hide or fear from criminal accountability. In the past month, I've met with flock representatives who have reassured me that aside from a small number of their CJIS engineers, they do not have access to our data. They recently added a mandatory NIBRS drop-down menu. NIBRS is the National Incident-Based Reporting System, so no longer can an officer leave the reason blank before any search, and now a new tool has been implemented to flag abnormal search behavior, which we've already activated here in Milford. We've also filtered out our data to strictly prohibit any agency from using it for immigration enforcement. And I just read about this recently. Anyone who feels they may have been improperly searched can now use a new website, haveibeenflocked.com, to see whether an agency has searched their vehicle. The website allows users to enter their license plate number in a search bar to view a series of audit logs in the flock system. The data came from information available through the Freedom of Information Act. I will defer to Law Director Brian Pacheco to address privacy concerns, but I will point out that the courts across the country have repeatedly upheld the use of ALPR, automated license plate reader evidence, and rejected claims that every collection or authorized search of license plate data automatically violates the Fourth Amendment. In fact, 3 recent federal cases help explain the constitutional difference between automated license plate readers and technologies capable of continuously tracking a person's movements. Lastly, I want to take a moment to thank City Council for your consistent, unwavering commitment to providing my officers with the critical tools they need to protect and serve our residents. Your support ensures that our agency remains equipped to handle modern public safety challenges. I'm immensely proud to stand here and state that during my tenure as chief, we have a pristine, proven track record of responsibility. We have not abused any database, vehicle, or equipment trusted to our care. We treat every single resource as a profound responsibility, and we hold ourselves to the highest ethical standards. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, takes us to Fire and EMS. Did I see? There's. I saw him.
It's back in the back row.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak for just a few minutes. I won't take too much of your time. I know you have a busy night. And in fact, I'll refer you to the city manager's report for more detailed information from our weekly reports from Milford Community Fire Department. But I do want to highlight a couple of items along the way. First, we recently had the pleasure of promoting 2 of our internal candidates, 2 of our existing employees from part-time to career positions. The first one, Caden Hartness, will be promoted at the beginning of September. He began with us as another one of our teenage cadets and worked his way through that and part-time position, and along the way began his paramedic training at Butler Tech. He's currently underway with that. And as I said, he'll be promoted at the beginning of September. Hannah Banks began with our department about 2 years ago, and she will be promoted in January. Hannah is a recent graduate of the paramedic course at Butler Tech, and both of these individuals will be filling existing current openings when they take on those roles. So we're proud of both of them, and they certainly stood out. We had great candidates from within, and a pretty rigorous process, including psychological testing and everything else to make sure, they fit our profile as far as how we want to represent ourselves in the community. And they did very well in the process, so congratulations to both of those members. Our new ambulance has a production number finally, and it is slotted for the production line by the manufacturer for delivery in October, which is way sooner than what we originally planned on, but we are okay with it. We saved a lot of time, and I won't go into a lot of detail, but we saved a lot of time by accepting a more standard vehicle that the vendor orders multiple of these type every year. Miami Township recently delivered one very, very similar to the one that we're going to be receiving, and that allows the time frame for delivery to be greatly speeded up. So we're real happy about that. I would guess that we are starting to amass the equipment for it now, but I would guess that by the first of the year that it will be on the road. And I just want to remind everybody, the reason that we are purchasing this third ambulance is because while our neighbors, especially Goshen Township, have been just absolutely wonderful letting us use their reserve and spare units as our ambulances when we had one out of service recently for repairs. We really have just reached the point in time where we need to have 3 ambulances in our fire station, 2 of them operating 24 hours a day as planned, the third one being a mechanical spare. So then when we send one out for repairs, we still maintain 2 ambulances. Our neighbors are all getting just as busy as we are, and they need their spares available to them and not sitting in Milford, and we certainly respect that. And so we'll be glad when we have the fleet increased back to 3 ambulances again, like we had for a period, for a couple of years prior. And finally, I just want to thank the City Council for your support of the purchase of that third ambulance, allowing us to use the money in the Fire and EMS Levy Fund that was unencumbered versus going out looking for financing for the purchase. At a great savings and interest to the community, and secondly, for allowing the use of the opioid funds that are available to purchase equipment to outfit that vehicle. I truly appreciate that on behalf of the board and my coworkers. I just want to thank you for that. And that's all the report I have. I appreciate your time. Do you have any questions for me?
I have 2 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Busy ambulances, what's up with the FC and ambulance runs?
Nothing is up with it.
Oh, I
other
just
than-
noticed in your report.
So when FC entered the community, one of the planning points that we prepared for, and part of the reason that we actually had a period of time with 3 ambulances, we purchased a used ambulance from St. Bernard, was we were anticipating and led to believe that we would be asked to cover special events there when they did friendlies, other soccer matches that did not rise to the profile, scrimmage games, scrimmage matches, and the such. Originally, that did not materialize as planned, and I don't know the reason behind that other than the activity at FC in the recent years has increased with their other leagues and trying to enter into the women's arena, and so just quite frankly, out of nowhere, really, we started getting phone calls from FC asking for special detail coverage, and so we've been obliging that. So it wasn't something we weren't.
You were anticipating it.
We were anticipating it. It just
Yeah.
kind of never happened, and then took off again, and we're good with it.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. And the other thing is, that heavy rescue video that ICRC did was really good.
They did an outstanding job with that. That was, I'm sure that was something that Benjamin's office had kind of planted the seed for. They put together just an excellent video. If you haven't seen it, I will try to get that link back out to you. It's readily available on YouTube on the ICRC-TV YouTube channel. It's right there. Great quality, highlighted our department, Miami Township and Terrace Park very nicely, and I was really glad to have that exposure. And while I'm at it, just let me take one more minute to, just like I did in the video, to acknowledge, in this case, the Milford Towing and Equipment Moving. They've been a great partner, just like many of the businesses are in town. On this particular training, we partnered with Milford Towing and Equipment to secure that concrete mixer in the car, and they were very involved in the training, and it was just a wonderful community partnership. So thank you for that opportunity to mention them.
Good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to council comments.
I have a couple.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to highlight, I've been meeting with residents over this summer, and I've been hearing some things. I have a copy I'd like all of council to have, and anyone else, but I just wanted to highlight a few things. Trust. Yeah, oh yeah, you want to do that? Trust and transparency are important to residents, but what does that mean and look like? Can it be defined? And can Sam Tolles maybe help us with those issues? In terms of development, the city has historically had a successful track record of purchasing properties and then waiting until they can be developed in alignment with our vision and comprehensive plan, like Valley View, the old Millcroft Harvest Market. But there's a concern with Fountain Specialists that there's talk of a park, and how do we hold the developer accountable for that park? I'm not saying we have to answer these, I'm just saying what I'm hearing. But in that same vein, let's have better oversight so we don't have another Erie development scenario again. The housing study that accompanied the CRA changes cited that half of Milford's housing stock are rentals. So how can the city encourage more owner-occupied single-family houses? Many people like the quirky, authentic character of Milford and don't want to lose that flavor. One neighbor suggested installing a small working water wheel at the entrance across the river to reinforce our Milltown history. I've been hearing about 5 points. The two big things are shade, which I think we already knew, and a gazebo or performance space. Someone wondered, could we create a permanent food truck park that would enhance offerings but not compete with restaurants? And could food trucks be located around the city for hungry concert goers during Porch Fest? Also, there's some quicker little fixes. I'm not going to read them all, but one resident who's very pro-development and incentives just wants to make sure we offer those to residents. They aren't lost, like the sidewalk reimbursement and the tree budget. And several people would like to see recycling bins downtown, and clear liners should be used so Rumpke doesn't throw the recycling in the landfill. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other council comments?
Just a shout out to city staff for the storm cleanup. They did an unbelievable job.
Yeah. Also, with Parks and Rec, and those meetings are always open to guests and residents, but one resident that has stepped up a lot is Kirk Reed. So I wanted just to recognize him and thank him for his good ideas and his efforts, and hopefully that'll continue.
Any other comments?
No, I'm good. I'm fine.
All right. We had talked about the strategic planning meeting, and I believe we've finally been able to come up with a consensus that everyone's good with, what did I say, the 5th?
October 5th at 6.
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock. We will have a strategic planning meeting that is open to the public, but more information will come out. But again, for planning purposes, that was.
Budget planning, right?
budget planning, strategic planning, yeah, but definitely budget planning. That will be the topic, budget planning. City staff will outline it and lead that discussion, and obviously present the different ideas that we'll need to then implement and then have budget session. So bring lots of questions. All right, any other comments? That moves us over to our meeting as a whole. Would like to call this the meeting as a whole to order. And Jackie, will you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Velardo?
Yes, here.
Mr. Price?
Here.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Barney?
Here.
Ms. Cooper?
Here.
Ms. Russell?
Here.
All right, we have items referred. I'm going to turn this over to our illustrious city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If council's okay, I would like to start with the Valley View support. Is everyone
Yep,
okay with
sure.
just switching the first two?
Sure.
Alrighty. So to start, Valley View support, we do have Vanessa here to provide some more information, and she handed out a couple of items for council to review. There's really no decision here. Our contribution will still be within my spending limitations. However, I think that this is an important opportunity that even though Valley View is technically not a city park, it's a city park in terms of this is an excellent asset for us. I think that this is one of the things that makes Milford as great as it is. But I just wanted to be able to give Vanessa an opportunity to come up and talk about all the great things going on. I know that this is a partnership that we will continue to nurture and figure out ways that we can collaborate further on, but none of that would be possible without Vanessa. So I will turn that over to Vanessa.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I came for a couple reasons. One, I'd sent you a letter a little while ago after the last meeting, and I just wanted to come and say thank you for your consideration for continuing our partnership, and the support means a lot to us. And it certainly helps us day in and day out. But the other thing I want to emphasize is that your expression of support, your trust and belief in what we're doing down at Valley View, that helps us in a great way when we go to apply for grants and we talk to other donors to show and highlight that partnership that we have with the city of Milford is meaningful, and we thank you for that. I wanted to share, I gave you our spring newsletter a while ago, but I updated some of the kind of the latest and greatest highlights that we've got as of the end of July. If I'm going to ask for support, we certainly need to show some value as well. So just to give a couple quick things, in terms of our volunteer stewardship, you can see there we've logged, our volunteers are incredible. I think everybody knows I'm the only employee, so every trail mowed or, anything that's planted, harvested, fixed, or, a program delivered is our volunteer efforts. They're our heart and soul, and they help all of our success, and they help build our character. They've logged over 3,500 hours so far. We're only halfway through. We have a very busy fall planned ahead. And I always like to point out that, that's over $126,000 in-kind value to Valley View. It's not a stat that we take lightly. We're very proud of it. Without all those people sharing their skills, their time, their talents, and choosing to share it with us is the way that we're able to make Valley View a little bit better all the time and to welcome 15,000+ visitors to the trails. So the volunteers get all the credit in the world for that, and we greatly appreciate them. It's also a really great way for community engagement and to get people involved and outside in a lot of different ways. We also, I wanted to mention the trails. We all know they're free and open, and we love that. We will always be that. We love our very kind of relaxed and unstructured character, if you will, but we do know there are some improvements that need to be made. And one of the things, not just to share with you, but anybody who's watching, there's a lot happening on the property that's very obvious. We've got habitat restoration. We've got a huge river project going on. We are mowing different trails than we used to mow because we finally have worked out a master trail plan. We're actually retiring 2 miles of trails. And and signage and wayfinding, to your point about wayfinding. Everybody seems to get back to their car, but it'd be great to help a little bit. So that is coming. We won't overdo it. I hear it very clearly. I hear the message, stay simple, stay as you are. We will do that, but we also know that we have some roadblocks to everybody in enjoying Valley View. And so we want to expand a little bit, be a little bit more accessible and a little bit more welcoming. So those things are coming, and we're kind of working on layers of learning. You know, we don't have a bunch of guides or anything, but there are ways to make that visit, if you want it to be, a little more enriching. So all of that's coming, and we're excited about it. And I hope the community, and I thank the community for being patient when you see a truck or a pile of gravel or you hear it. It will come to an end. The other thing that's really neat is we have the new shelter, and I think a lot of people have seen that. We kind of really just finished that up last fall, although connecting it to the parking is really important. So there will be an accessible trail that I actually just got my final bids in for that this morning, an accessible trail from parking to the shelter, because we know that it can expand an audience, whether it's SEM or whoever else, that maybe we have some folks, maybe you can't hike 5 miles, but we can certainly get you to the shelter to enjoy being kind of nestled in nature. And then the other thing I'm very excited about is we got a grant, a restricted grant for a story walk. So along that will also be a story walk for families, kiddos from Pattison or other visiting students. And we're getting the signs where you can change the story in and out. So seasonally, however we choose to do that, we'll be able to kind of keep it fresh and keep it new. So that'll be a great way to encourage families to come out with littles and enjoy reading a book on the path. So our Grow to Give garden, anybody who hikes down there knows that's a huge space. What a bunch of workhorses. They have been grinding through this heat and rain and mud and muck, and they have donated close to 4,000 pounds of produce to local pantries, and they're hustling to keep up with everything that's coming. So the garden's having a great year. It's a great outreach piece. The people that are involved in the garden are just a cachet of characters. I love them all. They're so great. You know, we're growing food, but we're also growing friendships and community by digging in the dirt. So that's a great project that brings a lot of people to Valley View and to the community. And it's a different way to get outside. Not everybody wants to take a hike. Not everybody has a dog. Gardening is just another way to get people to enjoy being out. Our Trail Mix program is some of the programming that we're doing. We call it Trail Mix because it gets us off the hook from being in pigeonholed. We can throw anything into Trail Mix we want. And so that's kind of where that came from. But we really, I think everybody sees that we work through partnership model. We don't have a big programming staff. It's not really the plan, but we know there are great people out there that are skillful, very good at facilitation, and yet we have the space, so we put those two pieces of the puzzle together, and we're really kind of getting our traction on that. We've offered 31 different days of programming. We've had well over 225 plus people register. And so we're really proud of that. We're proud of the fact that we've got that going on, and it's a wide variety of activities. But that's a value of over $7,000 of free programming and outdoor education and guided opportunities for our community that we are feeling good about. American Modern Insurance Group sponsors our Trail Mix every year, which makes it possible for us to offer it free to the community. All of our programs are free, and so we can cover facilitation, supplies, and all that kind of stuff. So those are just some highlights that we hope the community sees of value, and if they're not familiar, hopefully it's a great way to get involved or to come visit Valley View. Two other things that I wanted to point out, and I think everybody's been aware of them. I've talked to all of you, I've presented to council, and I think if you take a hike, you can't miss it. But and I put some pictures in there for you just to keep you up to speed. The first set of pictures is the habitat restoration. We talked about the Clean Ohio grant last time I was here, I think, and I just wanted to bring you up to speed. Again, our visitors have been patient. There are some big noisy machines out there once in a while, but we have cleared 25 acres so far of invasive thicket and undergrowth, which is kind of that first step for us to restore that native habitat. It's a long process. Madison Tree has been great to us. We've worked with them, and then we've also done a tremendous amount of work in-house. So that continues, and we cleared all our tree lines, and it was kind of amazing the difference that it feels. Your line of sight, the breezes are blowing differently, so the the middle of that property is really transforming. A little bit of a hot mess some days, but we'll get there. And then the other thing I think that's important is the river project. If you haven't seen it, that's that last page. I know we've had some folks from the city out there. That's the project that's being driven by Claremont Soil and Water District in conjunction with Davie Resource Group as well as Green Site, who have all been great to work with. I shared some of those early pictures of that bank. I think we lost almost 20 feet of the bank just this past spring. Had to shift some things around, so it really kind of highlighted the urgency for that, which will greatly improve, certainly water quality. Safety is a big one for us. I mean, we had that high bank that was kind of, and you can see now it's very graduated back and kind of, you know, subtle in terms of the fall on it. But we also have pushed to make sure that the river access for all of our visitors is greatly improved. You could walk along that river before and it was such a thick wall of honeysuckle, you didn't even see the river. So access will be to the water. Green Site and Davie, excuse me, have worked with us to create almost a step down to get people to the water. And then also seeing the river, having some resting spots. We're going to recycle the big trees that came down as some seating along the river and the overlook. So I think it'll be a really elevated experience for our visitors and even a little bit more enjoyable place to spend some time, whether it's a classroom of kids or bird watchers or whoever. So, and last but not least, we have Toast to the View coming up on September 26th. Huge day in Milford. Everybody can go to Art Fair and then come party with us at the Barns afterwards. In seriousness, it's a great night. We look forward to it every year. It's a great community celebration. We sell out, thankfully, because on top of having fun, it's a really critical event for Valley View. It provides necessary funding, vital funding for us to do the day-to-day so we can get those trails mowed, make progress, offer some good things to the community. So if anybody's out there and was thinking about coming, grab a ticket. So I won't go too much into any more detail. If you have any questions for me. Anybody?
Well, I would just like to share thank you.
Yeah.
Your passion, your vision, your enthusiasm, and your due diligence to ensure that Valley View is what it is. So I know you have a ton of volunteers, but your leadership obviously is not lost on, I think, any of us up here. So thank you for that. Thank you for your dedication to preserving such an important part of our community.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a great job.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Thanks,
Great.
Vanessa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. We will jump back to the top of the list. Thank you, Vanessa. Alrighty, first on the agenda is the IPMC ordinance. 2 meetings ago, we talked about adopting the International Property Maintenance Code. After we did a little bit more research into that, there's a few things that we didn't necessarily like, and we wanted to cater it a little bit more towards our local needs. So what we did is we did a side-by-side of our existing property maintenance code as well as the international property maintenance code. And we came up with a draft for council to review. We took bits and pieces from both, but I think we came up with a code that meets a lot of our needs in terms of the property maintenance items. Everything from what the specific standards are and expectations to that of the process that you follow, and then the penalty if such process is not completed properly. So this is simply a draft for council to review. Council is prepared to take action on it, then we certainly we have an ordinance ready for council to take action on. But I think that this is a step in the right direction. Cleaning up some of our codes, and I want to tie this to something. We do a very similar practice with, say, our building code. So we adopt the Hamilton County Building Code, and what that allows us to do is ensure that we're staying up to date on the standards related to the building department. This is a very similar approach, other than the fact that I'm not proposing to adopt the International Property Maintenance Code, but rather take bits and pieces from that and adopt that to some of our local needs. Any questions?
I, for one, think it's long overdue. and to enhance our ability to actively enforce property maintenance codes and really give our inspector the proper tools to ensure that our city is what we, I think, all have come to expect and want. And again, I defer to our city staff of combing through the property maintenance code and to basically adhere it to this community of what best serves this community. So we have not updated this in I don't know how many years, but I think it's something that is long overdue, and hopefully we can come to an agreement that it is needed here.
Were there any really radical changes?
Not so much. Some of the changes had to do with maybe a better definition in terms of some of the items. So if it's the exterior of a building, you know, and what those specific standards are, say the International Property Code had a better definition and standards laid out, then I would adopt that. The biggest distinction is really that of the appeal process and the penalty process with that. The International Property Maintenance Code has a different route that really just, it makes it extended and it helps actually solve the issue. It just gets in the way. So we came up with a more simplified approach to address some of these concerns. Obviously, the whole objective is to have a voluntary compliance angle at it, and I think our nuisance inspector does a great job of trying to work with the property owner to solve those issues. Sometimes we don't get that compliance, therefore we need to have a process in place that allows for us to be as effective to ensure that we solve some of these issues.
How will this information be communicated to residents and business owners?
Well, it's under the same process that we follow now, that if there's an issue in place, our nuisance inspector typically reaches out either via phone or in person, tries to solve the issue, and then from there, if it's not in compliance, then you send a notice and you follow that procedure.
No, my question had more to do with them knowing about this. Do they know about it now? And
I mean, this isn't something I send out, but whenever there's an issue, then that's when they become aware of it.
Okay.
I mean, it's part of our codified ordinances, so
All right.
if they wanted to find it online, they could.
okay.
Would anyone like to entertain moving a motion forward, or?
I'd make a motion to move forward and draft an ordinance.
Second?
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the list is Lime Lagoon cleaning. I'll do a short walk down a history lane, we'll call it. Earlier this year, I submitted we'll call it a staff review of the Lime Lagoon cleaning. As part of the budget process last year, we received several quotes from the Lime Lagoon. They totaled anywhere from $250,000 all the way up to $400,000. It's simply not feasible for us. This is a critical part of our water treatment process. However, the cleaning of it just simply, our water utility cannot support something that is $200,000 or $400,000 rather. I forget the exact number, but if you go back to the previous meeting, what it was in 2024, 2019 to what it is now, I mean, it went up astronomically. So what I did is I came up with a proposal or a staff review that essentially said that we could cut the cost down significantly by utilizing internal staff. It was going to take about 5 months, and we were going to have probably 5 employees every single day working on this. Well, that's also really not feasible for us. So the water department continued to find quotes, and we found one that better matches our needs. That's at $170,860. That will clean out the entire one. So we have 2 Lime Lagoon storage, we'll call it containers, I guess, for the lack of ditches. It's 2 of them. They're both 3,600 cubic yards. And what this company will do is they'll actually take it out, and they'll deal with it. Versus what we had it before was staff did it. We had to find a field, we had to do the testing, and we had to make sure that we had a place to apply it. And without getting too deep in the weeds, when you pick certain fields, you can only apply so much over a certain period of time, and there's a lot of testing that goes into that. It's not as simple as just finding a grass field and laying it down. So my recommendation to council is that we proceed with this. It's about $40,000 more than what I estimated for staff to do it internally. But once again, that was going to be very time consuming, and there is still additional costs in terms of the testing and ensuring that we have a proper site to actually apply the lime itself. So my recommendation is we proceed with this. Looking into the future, this is something that we will have to address. There are other communities that have different options other than what we are currently doing, and it's something that we are going to have to evaluate in terms of our disposal. Because once again, our utility fund simply just cannot support this on an ongoing basis when we have other expenditures, capital improvements that are needed.
And if you said it, I missed it. How long or how often do we have to do this?
So technically, we do this every single year. We pushed it off last year because we had much needed improvements, but
Right.
technically you have 2 of them, so it's every other year per one. So it equates to 1 per year.
But weren't they looking, is that I thought once upon a time they used to do it on a 3-year cycle. We skip, I don't know if we have the capacity or if.
So,
Yeah.
yes, so I'll comment on that. This is purely driven off of demand. It's not, hey, we're gonna get 1,000 cubic yards per year. It's all on the water demand.
Yeah.
So, 10 years ago, which I know is not exactly what you said, we just had a different water demand.
Okay.
So I can't say exactly we're going to get X amount of cubic yards per year. It's all variable.
I guess my question, is there a scenario where we can skip a year like we did last year? Or does that put us, cost-wise and everything else, does that mean that we have so much more that we're not saving any money?
I will not
Because
make
of-
the promise that we can skip a
Yeah.
year, but we also have the opportunity to say, okay, if next year we can't afford 170, maybe we do half of it and try something like that.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that, I know, you said if we did it internally, but that means if you had 4 to 5 of our staff, we don't have a large enough staff, that means there are 4 to 5 staff members who aren't doing everything else in this community that really needs to get done. So,
Yeah.
in my mind, you're not saving anything.
We're stretching across
Yeah.
likely 3 departments.
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with the heavy equipment that would be required. And we would have to truck it. We had one field that was in Blanchester. So we would have to truck it to Blanchester and back. And it's not as simple as just staff does it internally. There's a lot of time on top of the 5 months that we'd have to spend.
Right.
And once again, I'll highlight, and I'll be done. They handle everything. We don't have to test it. We don't have to apply it. We don't have to dig it out. Nothing. They do all of it.
Unfortunate cost of doing business.
Do we have this budgeted?
Yeah, we budgeted this earlier this year. I think we budgeted maybe 250. So we have knocked that down. We had to utilize that elsewhere, but we do have this in the budget.
Any other questions?
Would we entertain it?
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve this proposal of $170,860 for Lime Lagoon cleaning.
Second?
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the list is the Industrial Service Solutions. That's the Happy Hollow pump. This is a familiar face to council, as late last year we passed an ordinance to replace the Happy Hollow pumps. We have 2 of them. It was about $110,000 purchase. Where they currently sit is it's actually in a pit underground, and the pit itself was so corroded and rusted that there was a ton of penetration from groundwater and groundwater. Council also passed a ordinance in May that allowed for us to seal it off. We had only one company. I think we reached out to probably 10, some of them which said it was too dangerous. So we did seal this up. Prior to us sealing this up completely, we had a heavy rainfall which actually blew up one of the pumps. So what we had to do is get the pump rebuilt, as it's extremely important that we get the sewage out of the apartment complexes that are back there. So the ordinance before you is an ordinance to rebuild those motors, or that one pump specifically. We have the other pump that actually went down here recently too, so we do have a bypass. That'll have to come before council. That's just bearing, so it's not as bad, but there's a significant issue with that. That's a very expensive area, and it serves certainly a few residents down there, but that is going to be a bigger issue as the actual sewer. It's a force main that goes up the hillside that dumps out onto Mohawk. That is going to have to be evaluated, as we think there's issues there, but that's separate from this. This is simply rebuilding the pump.
All right.
It's gotta be done.
That's right. It does have to be done. All right, then I would recommend that we draft an ordinance in agreement with Industrial Service Solutions for $8,995 to rebuild that pump.
Second?
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Thank you. Next is the specifications for standard drawings. I believe that this was provided to council via email. This was about 180 pages worth of paper. What this
Thank you
has
for
to
not
do
printing
is,
all that.
the overall summary of this is it's specifications for water, sewer, stormwater, infrastructure, and this is something that I believe was updated last in 2014. So similar to the International Property Maintenance Code, this is our opportunity to adopt more up-to-date standards on those utilities. It's extremely important, whether it's new construction, existing infrastructure, that we have up-to-date specifications on that. And what was provided to council was the specifications that was prepared by our city engineer.
Questions?
No? Okay. Then I would recommend we draft an ordinance to update the standard construction details for standard drawings for the city.
Second?
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Thank you. Last on the list is OPWC. I provided nothing in the packet. The ordinance itself is simply allowing us to apply for OPWC. It's due, I believe, in 10 days. The two projects we're submitting, I discussed earlier, State Route 28 sewer lining. There is a portion of pipe that is a clay pipe that's still in sufficient shape for us to be able to line it. It's a far more cost-effective approach. We think that'll be about $200,000 for that project. And then the head wall that's right there by the fire department, that has been an issue for years. There's flooding issues. It's crippling. It's in dire need of improvements. We discussed doing a Band-Aid solution at about $90,000, but it was a 5-year solution. To do it right, it's about $350,000, which is why it's extremely important to apply for OPWC funding for that. So, as a friendly reminder, the way that we maximize points is we contribute 51%, and then we'll apply for a 49% grant. Obviously, it's not guaranteed, and there's more to the scoring than that, but those are two good candidates for that grant, and we plan to submit that.
And if we don't get it?
we don't get it, then we have a good topic for the strategic planning.
Yeah.
No,
And more
That
money.
budget meeting.
no,
And
and all jokes aside, we won't actually find out until around November, December, how we rank compared to the other communities. But regardless, we will make that assumption that we will get that grant and that will be built into the budget. Similar to CDBG and Robbie Ridge, we'll have $175,000 match for that $350,000 project, so that will be built into the budget.
All right.
Okay. Then I recommend that we draft an ordinance for an agreement with, well, to apply for OPWC agreement for said projects.
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
All right, that brings us any other matters which may come to this committee. Does anyone have any to this committee as a whole? Hearing none, that takes us to public comments. If you would take the opportunity to approach the podium, state your name, and have at it.
Kirk Reed, 543 Belt. The last little party we had was wonderful. I had a great time. The Locust and Main stoplight you guys asked about, it is not correct. It's been wrong the whole entire time. It just flows. So that was asked. So I know that it's wrong, so I'll go ahead and tell you. So I did have some parks ideas for the future. There's a lot of Frisbee golfers around here. Riverside 1 and 2 could be utilized for a 9-hole golf course, or Frisbee golf course. Riverside 1 already has a group playing Ultimate Frisbee, and there's a number of locals here that already have a course mapped out in their heads.
Ooh.
And so for very little money, that could be something added to our parks. And their motto is we pick up trash as we go. So we know that the river brings plenty of trash up onto the shore down through there, so it's a good opportunity for, you know, some sort of economic growth also, because they'll spend money after they play their Frisbee golf. You guys mentioned this, the park's shade is definitely still needed. I would, when I was looking into the splash pad, I noticed that some of the other communities, their rules around their splash pad, they said that when they buy equipment, it must have a 3-year guaranteed life. I believe the storms that we just had took all of the umbrellas that were there. So that's kind of a bummer, but no big deal. Pumps, just like the ambulance, pumps need inline spares and backups. When all of this stuff was engineered, back in whenever it was engineered, all of these systems are all required by the engineering documents to have inline spares and emergency parts for rebuilds. So I think if we just go back into our engineering documents, we should find that these are the things that we should be doing. Some of the best businesses I called on never had emergency situations because they always had backups, and their technicians knew how to work on all of their equipment. So, you know, if our guys are doing work, we need to be sending them to the factories of the pumps that we have so they can be factory authorized to work on the equipment. Kathy highlighted a 50% rental around here. I know that's true because we are currently looking for somewhere to live in Milford. Our house is slated to be done in the end of November, and we're hopefully gonna be able to sell it nice and quick and transition into a home, hopefully in Milford. So if you have a house, contact me, rental or for sale. Also, with the parks, Terrell Park had a huge washout from the last couple storms, and one of the main trails is actually now undercut, And so we need to put some sort of signage or have Cora come out and do some new analysis, because probably, I don't know how many acres it is. I could figure out on Google Map how much we've lost due to all of the brush that's been piled up. So I know that they're apparently doing some river cleanup at Valley View. It sounds like we need to do the same thing at Terrell Park, because if we have a real big storm with all the blight from all of the trees that we've lost, all of the dead trees are just washing down into this one area. And if it gets real bad, we're going to lose acres of a park, and it's going to be non-replaceable. So that's all. Thank you.
Thanks.
And
Thank you.
everybody have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Hello.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name's Mark, 220 Cannonade in Loveland. But I met Miss Barney a couple weeks ago, and I live in Loveland, but I found a recycling grant for the city of Loveland, shared it at their council meeting. They applied for it and got it. And just real quickly, before I would go through the cans in downtown Loveland, and I could surface dive and pick up 500 like Dora cups in a day. Since these bins have been out, and they aren't even all out yet, it hasn't been more than 150. The grant was through Hamilton County, which I know this is obviously not like Hamilton County, but I do know of another grant through the Ohio EPA. They open in mid-September for this grant. So if you guys are interested in having recycling bins also in your downtown area, I know for the city of Loveland, they were about $700 each. So I think there's probably 12 to 15 that could be in the downtown, just down the main road. So 8,000 to 10,500 if you want to do it by yourself, want to do it with the Ohio EPA. I know there's different amounts, but it would definitely cover that amount. Trying to think if there's anything else. That's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
All right.
A little while. Okay, good evening, council members. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. My name is Ann Guthrie. I'm here to ask you actually to reject flock camera contracts in this community, in our community. I'd like to start with something foundational. The U.S. Constitution grants power to the government, and the Bill of Rights exists for the opposite reason, to protect people from the government. The Fourth Amendment is one of those protections. It prohibits unreasonable search and seizure without a warrant. Flock cameras are not traffic cameras. They're automated license plate readers that can photograph every vehicle that passes. It logs the plate, the time, the GPS location, and stores it in a searchable database for every driver regardless of suspicion. They can also identify individual people. That's not targeted policing, that's a dragnet, and it inverts the relationship the Bill of Rights was written to protect. The legal ground under these cameras is shifting very quickly. The ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, has argued to the Fourth Circuit that individually innocuous observations can actually be aggregated into a constitutionally significant picture of a person's life, revealing where they live, where they worship, where they go to the doctor, and that's referred to as the mosaic theory now before federal appellate courts. It's not hypothetical. Flock's network has routed local license plates data to ICE and Border Patrol without cities' authorizations. This has triggered over 50 municipal contract cancellations nationwide, including Mountain View, California, which shut its entire camera network down after discovering a national lookup setting had been switched on without the city's permission. It goes beyond our borders, too. U.S. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon sent a letter to FTC Chair Andrew Ferguson in December of 25, urging an investigation into flock safety. The key points from the letter: 1, flock surveillance data can reveal Americans' movements over time. 2, by not requiring industry standard multi-factor authentication, MFA, to secure law enforcement accounts, Flock has needlessly exposed American sensitive personal data to theft by hackers and allowed unauthorized access through multiple documented instances of unauthorized password sharing. And 3, at least 35 Flock separate login credentials belonging to Flock's law enforcement customers have been compromised and stolen, appearing on Russian cybercrime forums. Fourthly, he mentions the FTC issued enforcement actions against companies for failing to use MFA in prior cases. And lastly, and fifth, more recently, Senator Wyden called for an FTC investigation after security researchers found dozens of Flock cameras streaming unencrypted live video to the open internet in December of 25. Finally, Flock's failure to require base security safeguards have left Americans' movement data vulnerable to theft by hackers and foreign intelligence services. There is no legitimate law enforcement reason our neighbors' movement should ever be exposed to a foreign actor. I also want to point counsel toward a resource a software engineer named Will Freeman built dflock.me, a crowdsourced public map that tracks over 100,000 ALPR cameras nationwide, including many right here. Flock tried to shut him down with a cease and desist order, and he was defended for free by the Electronic Frontier Foundation, or EFF, a nonprofit that has fought for decades to protect civil liberties and privacy from government and corporate surveillance. Our founders wrote the Fourth Amendment because they understood that unchecked government power over ordinary people's movements is exactly what a free country cannot allow, and I urge you to stop using ALPR and Flock cameras in Milford, Ohio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Adam Hyatt. I live at 1643 Squireswood Court. First off, I want to thank Chief Mills for his address about Flock cameras. I was part of the protest that he mentioned, and I thank him and the rest of the Milford Police Department for at least hearing out our views, trying to add more guidelines so that we can reach a safer end result for everyone involved. However, I do also want to relay to the City Council why exactly we protested there in the first place. A little more about me. I'm a college student. I've lived in Milford my whole life, and I've seen ALPRs come into our community. I've seen them built over the past year, and I believe, like many others here, that they pose an intense danger to our right to privacy. For some baseline information, most ALDRs are manufactured and maintained by Flock Safety, an American company. They're primarily marketed to law enforcement agencies, and they're also seeing increasing uses by homeowners associations. They collect license plate numbers and location data, along with marking the exact date and time that was collected. Furthermore, Flock has multiple types of cameras. Their Condor cameras have tilt pan zoom capabilities, which have been used before to track people, despite the fact that they do not advertise that. They can cross-reference this data to form a very full picture of where the license plate has been. So basically, they know everywhere we've been in the past week. They take the form of an all-black 10-foot pole. Many of you have seen them. They're pretty much everywhere, with a small camera about 3/4 of the way up and a solar panel on top. And I heavily advise everyone in this room to just look around as you drive home or commute home today. They're everywhere, and they've been built in a very short amount of time, and I believe there should have been more time before they were implemented in this capacity. They're constantly recording, and they're marking each passerby. This data was formerly held for 30 days, but due to backlash, Flock has reduced that to 7 days. It is easy to be complacent in the introduction of this technology, and it is easy to say, I trust Flock and law enforcement agencies with the use of technology. It is not easy to look at the increasingly numerous incidents of misuse. Flock always touts the successes of finding stolen cars or kidnapping victims, but they do their best to bury the incidents of misuse. Keeping it brief, just a few of many incidents. Last December, Milwaukee police officer Josue Ayala was caught using Flock cameras to stalk his romantic partner hundreds of times. And even one of the detectives on that case, Terangi Chapman, was also caught tracking 2 people with these cameras unconstitutionally. The Institute of Justice, a nonprofit that is focusing on similar incidents, has tallied instances of police officers misusing ALDRs to stalk romantic interests or ex-spouses. Flock cameras are used to track those merely under suspicion of a crime across state lines, and what I believe is a flagrant violation of our rights. To be completely honest, I am frustrated. I am frustrated with the City Council for voting these into effect all the way back in February of last year. I am frustrated that 27 $27,000 of our tax money went into funding this program. I ask all of you, do you think you've done anything to warrant being surveilled constantly? Because now we have no choice. I have so much pride in our town, and I am so glad to be from Milford. However, me and the rest of the citizens of Milford are now treated as criminals in our town. We're being investigated before a crime even occurs. And I ask all of you to understand that this is only the start. If we let this kind of surveillance into our cities and communities, we risk letting them into our homes and our private lives. It is our duty as citizens to fight back against any example of mass surveillance. I implore the City Council to follow in the footsteps of communities like Newport, listen to the people of Milford, and end the city's flock camera program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. I have a modest proposal. You all have a lot of responsibility. You're important people who make important decisions. And as all important people should be, you should be safe. So I have a proposal for, let me just cut to the chase, a hypothetical company called Block Safety. This company maybe could have ties to the Pentagon or could be invested in by a Peter Thiel-owned company. And as the name implies, all for safety. Maybe along every road and establishment of Milford, we could install ALPR safety cameras at every location you go to track your every whereabout, for your safety, of course. Every gun range, every daycare, every school, every abortion clinic, for your safety. No, scratch that. We could install these ALPRs all over the US because safety isn't just limited to Milford. And with all due respect to you guys, I believe that everyone deserves safety. And tracking everyday citizens would be great. We could make other cool technology like drones and microphones that listen to human voices. And we could also implement PTZ cameras called condors that track people, not just cars. All for your safety, don't forget that. For tracking the movements of our decision makers, it's great, but everyone is better. And just in case there's a criminal in that group of everyone, we could hopefully maybe solve crimes with this cool dragnet for safety. But if I really urgently wanted to know the whereabouts of, say, my girlfriend, I could do that with this large network of cameras. But I don't know, I don't like the bureaucratic time-wasting paperwork that's usually needed for this type of surveillance. The anti-surveillance people call those warrants. No. For those stupid whistleblowers who call them warrants, we could instead maybe say, all you have to do is type in a little reason box to access this network of cameras and track someone's location. Maybe people could put in ASDF. Maybe people could put in donut. Maybe people could just leave the reason box blank and then search the entire network to find their girlfriend. That sounds great. And again, those stupid whistleblowers who say there's little evidence of them solving crime, I have a good idea. Another proposal for my hypothetical company. We could edit research papers and sponsor researchers into saying that they do solve crime. And at Block Safety, I also encourage you not to heed those whistleblowers because they're complaining about the abuses, but no matter what, we could implement some cool-sounding guardrails or some cool-sounding auditing measure next year. In all seriousness, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Block safety is not real. It's flock safety. Flock did edit studies. Milford does have people tracking PTZ cameras. So council, I urge you, cancel the contract with Flock Safety. And don't replace it with any other technology and brand like Axon or Motorola or Genetech or any of that other crap. We are the people of Milford for you guys to serve, not to catalog and survey. I'll end with a quote. Benjamin Franklin warned, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Safety cannot excuse unlimited government power." Thank you.
Did I miss his name?
No, we do need state name and address.
Oh, yeah. Who are you?
For the record, right?
Yeah,
I'm Michael Dwyer, 1148 Glen Echo Lane.
thank you.
Sorry, Kat, I'm usually pretty good. I missed catching that.
Deborah Lyons, 3 High Street.
Hello.
Benjamin.
What's the problem with getting an ordinance enforced? Prior to you working here and Steve Greger, I would call, no problem, get it cleaned up. The weeds between 18 Main's back parking lot and our fence, it looks horrible. It's a big eyesore, should be cleaned up. And you and Steve Greger, I don't know what it is, but you don't want to get it, you don't want to enforce it for whatever reason. I'm thinking it's because of Tom Seaman. He's buddies with him. Do you think that's really fair to us? We have a nice piece of property. We pay taxes to live in this town. We can't get that cleaned up. And then a few days ago, Steve Greger obviously had to give out my phone number to Ash Patel that owns the building. He called me and started a big fight with me, which ended in him screaming F you at me. I shouldn't have to put up with that. I blocked him. Would you want to put up with that? And then she deliberately moved her dumpster over by our fence. We have to listen to bags of garbage going in that dumpster and beer bottles crashing in the dumpster. Sometimes they leave it open. We have to smell it. There's a perfect spot over by their building where that could go, between their building and shed. Yet a commercial dumpster is put over by a residential home. Would you like that? I don't think you would. So I'd like to ask you to have them clean that mess up and move that dumpster over where it should be. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bill Lyons. I live at 3 High Street. I don't hear you guys saying very much about this. It doesn't bother you? It doesn't bother you that we have to live next to a couple of garbage gondolas that put rotten food and everything that's been sitting around and stuff. And on the hot days that we've had, it's no more than from me to this lady right here away from me, where I have to sit in my yard and I do things. And I have to smell that stuff. And I've taken care of our yard. Debbie's taken care of our yard. We've tried to make it look very, I don't know what the word is, but yeah, nice. We get a lot of compliments on it. Get a lot of people walk up and down the street and say, you know, you guys just keep doing stuff to this house. It never stops. You just come up with something else and make it look real nice. But then I've heard people come up and said, it's a shame that you have to live next to that place there and have to deal with that stuff. You know, I wouldn't ask nobody to do that. I pay my property taxes. I pay them on time. I take care of my property. I had, you know, this is the 3rd year that we've been dealing with this over there with them. And every year it's came out eventually that, you know, they were in the wrong and they need to clean it up. Now there's nobody talking to them. There's nobody saying anything to them. When I talked to Steve, I made an appointment with Steve to talk to him on Saturday morning, because I come over here 3 days in a row trying to meet with him. And I have my glasses on. Benjamin. I tried to meet with them on a Saturday morning. I told the girls over there, I said, I'll be here at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I said, what time do they come in? They said, 8 o'clock. You come over here at 8 o'clock and you'll be able to talk to them. I said, great. You tell them I want to meet with both of them. And to be honest with you, I was just getting tired of us looking like the bad guy. Everybody's saying that we did this and we did that and we shouldn't complain about this and we shouldn't complain about that. And I've got one thing to say about that. Anybody that's saying that about where I live and the things that I have to put up with, I would invite any one of you to come over there and spend a day. On a hot summer day, come over there and sit in the yard. I even give you a glass of iced tea or something. And it's stuff that we have to deal with. We're not there to just complain about nothing. Like I said, she's taken care of the flowers. I put a fire pit in, you know, to where I can sit there with family members, you know, and friends who want to come over, you know, in the evening, listen to a little music. That's another story. You can't hear my music because on the weekend it's just so loud. All you can hear is that. But I'm saying I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of it. Like I said, I pay my property taxes. I don't bother nobody. Debbie doesn't bother nobody. Are we complaining now? Yes, we are complaining now because we have to deal with this. And I might, like I said, any one of you, if you had to live there next to that, and like I said, on a hot summer day, I even went over to talk to the girl. It was probably been about a month ago now, and I told her, I said, you know, I'm Bill Lyons. I said, I'm the person that I live over here, me and Debbie, and I said, I come over here to talk to you because I said I want to know if there's something we can't do to get this stuff straightened out to where we can just get along and do this. And she says, well, that's all I've wanted. That's all I've wanted. I said, okay. I said, let's walk outside here. And I said, we'll go over here. And I said, we'll talk about it. And I told her, I said, these two dumpsters, I said, the other day they were right over there. Right over there. I said, it's where they've always been. I said, now you move them right over next to my fence. To where when I come out here, I have to smell this stuff and that. She said, well, yeah. And she said, I said, you've got a shed right here. You've got your building right there. You've got plenty of room to put both of the gondolas in there. Rumpke can get them out of there and empty them and put them right back in again. There's no problem there. And I said, what's the problem with doing that? Why can't you do that? She said she was just trying to make spaces. Well, she took them out of 2 spaces that were being blocked by those, and she moved them back over on my side, right there by my fence, and blocked 2 more spaces. So she never gained anything.
Mr. Lyons, I hear you, but you're right at your 5-minute mark, so.
Okay, so I understand. Nobody wants to hear about this. I'm the only one concerned about it. I think, you know, you all need to know that we have hired a lawyer. We shouldn't have to put up with this. We should.
Mr. Lyons, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do they have an enclosed area for their,
No. They're sitting right next to my fence. And that's the law.
did they ever have one?
Never did.
It's not required?
They pre-existed
It
the
is
ordinance.
required. It
Okay.
is required.
They pre-existed the ordinance.
Milford and see how many are just
The
sitting there.
ordinance was there
All right,
before.
well, we respect you, and we've heard you, so thank you for your time.
You didn't cut anybody else off like that.
Anyone that goes over 5 minutes, yes.
One thing I forgot to add,
Yeah.
Steve Greger, from day one, even last year, he came and he wanted to immediately start picking on things in our yard. We corrected ornamental grass hanging over the sidewalk. We did our job. He didn't make them clean that.
Thank you for your time. Is there anyone else who would like to address council?
Yeah, so much for ordinances in the city of Milford.
Can
All right.
ask
Can I ask a question?
I have one too.
Where is this located and how long has it been going on?
They're the house on
behind
the corner
Milford
of High and.
I'm sorry, what?
High and,
Mill.
Mill, sorry. They're by Main Street Social.
So is it a business that's the issue?
Yeah, Milford Social.
Main Street Social.
Is there an ordinance violation, a code violation?
Last time I inspected it, there was not a violation, and we've communicated this several times.
I mean, that was my
Dumpster-
question, is did they move the dumpster to someplace it shouldn't be?
The dumpster meets the requirements. They have to be a certain percentage or a certain amount of feet off the property line, which the last time I checked, they were in compliance with that. The dumpster pre-existed the ordinance in which there has to be an enclosed dumpster, so therefore they get grandfathered in. That's just how zoning works. Other than that, they've cleaned up weeds that are along the fence line. It's not on their fence anymore. They've cleaned that up, so the last time I checked, they were in compliance.
Also, just, they have if they want to retain a lawyer, if they believe they have issues, they should seek private counsel. That's one issue if they believe they have an issue. The other issue is, at least in my experience, if anything, Mr. Grieger is accused of being overly aggressive with his prosecutions, not utterly aggressive. So I'm not going to speak to these individual performances. I don't know about their specific facts, and that's counsel, frankly, doesn't know either, and it's up to the enforcement agency. So I appreciate that people want to come to council and expect council to resolve the problem, but it's not council's function. It's the enforcement, just as a matter of, so the public knows, this council doesn't have the authority to issue prosecution. So just as a matter of authority, that's Benjamin's job. But regardless, Mr. Grieger is very cognizant of, and in my view, at least, seeing other folks who have held that job diligent in his prosecutions if they're there. So just as a general, I'm not speaking to theirs because I don't know the specific facts other than what Mr. Gunnarsson just said. I just want council to be aware of that, and the public, lest they think that the council can do anything about the specific prosecution. Thanks.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn our committee as a whole?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll go right back into our new business. Any other new business? How about the Brian Pacheco ordinance and resolutions?
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance number 26-488, an ordinance amending Chapter 1312, property maintenance of the codified ordinances of the City of Milford. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby amends Chapter 1312, property maintenance, by updating and amending certain sections of the existing property maintenance code and better aligning with the International Property Maintenance Code. The full text of the revised Chapter 1312 property maintenance section of the codified ordinances of the City of Milford, Ohio shall be and is hereby amended, incorporated herein as if fully rewritten herein pursuant to and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Charter of the City of Milford. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance will become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-488, an ordinance amending Chapter 1312 property maintenance of the codified ordinances of the City of Milford.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-489, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to contract with Utter Power Plant and Earthworks Services for the Lime Lagoon cleaning. Whereas Utter Power Plant and Earthworks Services intends to clean out 3,600 cubic yards from the Water Department Lime Lagoon storage. And whereas the Lime Lagoon is a critical part of the Water Department treatment process with storage engineering capacity, and whereas in accordance with Section 11.09 of the Milford Charter, this contract is not being competitively bid because it is for professional services. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Utter Power and Plant and Earthworks Services at a price not to exceed $170,860 for the Lime Lagoon storage cleaning per the attached quote. The attached quote is fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
I'll suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-489, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to contract with Utter Power Plant and Earthworks Services for the Lime Lagoon cleaning.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-490, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with the Ram Industrial Services LLC company for one Happy Hallow lift station pump totaling $8,995. Whereas the city of Milford experienced damage at the Happy Hallow lift station resulting in an inoperable lift station pump at the station, and whereas if the station's pump is not fixed, the city will incur significant costs to rent proper equipment, and if such equipment fails, could result in significant sewage backup into surrounding residential properties. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. City Council hereby authorizes authorizes the city manager to purchase 2 pumps from Ram Industrial Services LLC, specifically Happy Hallow Lift Station Pump for $8,995 per the attached quote. The attached quote is fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-490, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with the Ram Industrial Services LLC company for 1 Happy Hallow lift station pump totaling $8,995.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-491, an ordinance adopting standard construction details for water, wastewater, roadway, and storm standard details and specifications. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby adopts the water, wastewater, roadway, and storm standard construction details for which drawings shall be incorporated herein and made a part hereof in accordance with and as set forth in the attachment hereto, with attachments fully incorporated herein as if fully rewritten herein pursuant to in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. The council hereby authorizes the city manager to amend the standard construction details as needed and adopts all amendments to the details as made in the future unless council otherwise determines by legislation that such amendments should not be adopted. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-491, an ordinance adopting standard construction details for water, wastewater, roadway, and storm standard details and specifications.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Barney? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-492, an ordinance authorizing an agreement with the Ohio Public Works Commission for the Milford Parkway head wall and State Route 28 sewer lining projects. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio, Section 1. The Council of Milford, City of Milford hereby authorizes the city manager to enter into and execute an agreement with the Ohio Public Works Commission for the Milford Parkway head wall and State Route 28 sewer lining projects in accordance with the terms and conditions of which agreements are fully incorporated herein pursuant to in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Sections 12.05 and 12.07 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Ordinance number 26-492, an ordinance authorizing an agreement with the Ohio Public Works Commission for the Milford Parkway head wall and State Route 28 sewer lining projects.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Velardo?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor, just very briefly, because it's 9:30, but very briefly on the flock issue. As Chief Mills said, federal courts that have looked at this have found these are not searches, these are not tracking devices. Courts that have these arguments made to them find that they're not tracking devices. They're not, you don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy in your license plate. After all, when you drive out of your garage, you're exposing your public movements to the public. Now, don't get mad at me. That's 45 years of U.S. Supreme Court precedent. If they want to pull a Dobbs and change the law, then I guess they can change the law. But right now, we're in compliance with federal constitutional law and state constitutional law as those cameras are expressed by Chief Mills. And again, whether or not there's a policy preference or a policy, that's a different issue. Legally, we're respecting people's privacy rights and their constitutional amendments. And again, even today, 3 more cases upholding the use of ALPR cameras, one in the Fifth Circuit, one in the state of Washington, and one in a federal court in the state of Oklahoma. So again, these are very clear pronouncements from the U.S. Supreme Court. They are 40 to 50 years old, and they simply apply them. These are not, according to courts, tracking devices, and that's the difference. These do not track your movement on private property. They're only on public property, and they're only when they're set up. They do not track as in follow you around. The best they can do is catch you as you go by. And if you know where they are and you avoid them, you can't be tracked. That's not a tracking device. So I just want to make that clear factually and legally. Whether somebody thinks it's a good policy idea or not, that is not for me to decide. That's for other folks to decide. But legally, they do not violate the Constitution. I just wanted to be aware of that. On a lighter note, congratulations to Mr. Hackmeister, and congratulations for his great service to the city, and also to the officers and to the citizen volunteers who achieved their awards. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you. Any old business? Next meeting will be, we're back to our regular meeting schedule. September 1st
Correct.
will be our next meeting, and do we have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, quick, I just thought of old business. I don't want to forget that we talked about having some public meetings about a potential park levy continuance.
Okay.
At what?
Okay.
Yeah,
Continuing the park levy for
Oh.
5 points.
okay.
Yeah, I was rereading the minutes and we talked a lot about that last. Just don't want to forget it.
I can add that to the next agenda, a discussion within committee of the whole. And we can determine what the next steps, if it's a public hearing, whatever council decides. So we'll make sure that's on the.
Yeah, we'll
September
definitely have some kind of public hearing. That won't be lost. I mean,
Guys,
Yeah.
make sure we get it in
Yeah.
the timeline.
yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Sorry.
Yeah, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, I was going to cut you off.
Oh, no.